Something just happened involving Zak Bagans, and it's not another haunted museum stunt or television rumor. Moments ago, shocking news broke, and it's leaving fans of ghost adventures in disbelief. What he admitted in a recent statement has turned years of speculation into something much darker. This story digs into the strange coincidences surrounding his recent behavior, the troubling silence from his crew, and what insiders claim he's finally confessing to. Stay until the end, because the truth about what's happening to Zak is far more disturbing than anyone expected. Subscribe now. You're going to need context for what's coming. It started with a single post. No video, no promotion, just a chilling message dropped on Zak Bagans' official account a little after midnight. The truth always finds its way through the dark, it read. Within minutes, it was shared thousands of times. Fans who had followed ghost adventures for over a decade flooded the comments, some asking if it was a teaser for a new episode, others begging to know if Zak was okay. But the words that followed in a now-deleted story made it clear this wasn't marketing. It was a confession. "I've been holding something back for years," he wrote, "something that should have stayed buried. Now it's forcing its way out." That was the moment everything changed. In the hours after that post, his name dominated social media. Major entertainment pages picked it up, and paranormal forums lit up with panic. Was Zak talking about an old investigation? A personal secret? Or worse, something supernatural he had encountered that never made it to air? For the first time in years, Zak's tone didn't sound like a man promoting the paranormal. It sounded like a man haunted by it. Witnesses close to him claim he had been acting strangely for weeks, canceling appearances, shutting down museum tours, and avoiding phone calls. Some said his voice, even in casual interviews, carried a kind of trembling edge, as if he was being watched, or worse, followed by something unseen. The post stayed up for just 22 minutes before disappearing entirely. But by then, screenshots had spread across Reddit, TikTok, and every corner of the ghost hunting community. A few noticed something odd. In the image attached to the post, a shadow lingered behind Zak's shoulder, a distorted shape almost human, yet not. People debated whether it was an illusion, an editing glitch, or something else entirely. Then silent. No follow-up, no denial, no clarification. That's when the whispers started. Former crew members refused to comment. His museum staff claimed technical reasons for the closures, and those who had recently spoken to Zak said he seemed distant, paranoid, almost scared. Whatever was going on, it wasn't just another episode or a viral stunt. Something real was unraveling, and whatever truth he hinted at was finally coming for him. Long before the midnight post sent shockwaves through the paranormal world, Zak Bagans had already cemented himself as the face of modern ghost hunting. Ghost Adventures began in 2008 as a low-budget documentary with shaky cameras and real fear. But what set Zak apart wasn't just the hauntings, it was his conviction. He didn't act like a TV host chasing ratings. He behaved like a man obsessed with the unseen. His voice would tremble as he shouted into the darkness, daring whatever was inside to show itself. Viewers could feel it. That raw energy turned him into a global phenomenon. Within a few short years, he went from filming abandoned prisons to owning one of the most infamous collections of cursed artifacts on Earth, the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. At its peak, Ghost Adventures pulled millions of viewers per episode. Zak's team, Aaron Goodwin, Billy Tolley, and Jay Wasley, became household names in the paranormal community. Together, they traveled the country, confronting entities that most people only whisper about. But behind the success, there was a cost. Zak's obsession with authenticity blurred the line between performance and possession. He started experimenting with darker locations, hospitals where patients died screaming, homes tied to demonic rituals, and prisons where despair had soaked into the concrete. Crew members have since admitted that filming these episodes wasn't just exhausting, it was dangerous. Equipment would break, voices would whisper through static, and sometimes Zak would refuse to leave even after everyone else packed up, standing alone in total darkness, murmuring to something that wasn't there. The fame amplified his isolation. Fans saw the confident host on screen, but insiders saw the toll. Zak stopped doing meet and greets. He avoided daylight interviews. His once loud personality turned quieter, almost solemn. Some said he'd spend hours walking through the museum alone, staring at objects like the Dybbuk box or the Bela Lugosi mirror, as if they were speaking to him. Even close friends said he'd begun treating the artifacts like people. It wasn't long before rumors spread that something had followed him home, but Zak dismissed it, insisting it was all part of the work. Yet, as Ghost Adventures evolved, so did its darkness. Episodes began feeling less like entertainment and more like confessions. Zak wasn't just documenting hauntings anymore, he was living inside one. The man who once hunted ghosts was now being haunted himself, and whether he realized it or not, the cracks were beginning to show. When the cameras stopped rolling and the lights faded, something inside Ghost Adventures began to shift. The chemistry that once made the team feel like brothers on a mission turned into something colder, more secretive. Fans noticed it first. The laughter between scenes vanished, the energy dulled, and moments of visible tension started creeping into the episodes. Aaron Goodwin, who had always been the heart of the show, began looking uncomfortable, hesitant to follow Zak into certain rooms. Viewers took to forums, pointing out how Aaron's body language had changed. In one viral clip, Zak called out to him from a dark hallway, and instead of replying with his usual nervous humor, Aaron's voice cracked as he whispered, "I don't want to go back in there again." That moment, fans say, marked the beginning of the silence. Within a year, behind-the-scenes updates stopped. Interviews were canceled. Crew members who had been with Zak for over a decade suddenly disappeared from the credits with no explanation. Billy Tolley and Jay Wasley rarely spoke publicly about filming anymore. When they did, their words felt cautious, measured. One interview from 2023 stands out. When asked about Zak's leadership, Jay paused, smiled uncomfortably, and said, "Zak's very passionate about his work. Sometimes that passion takes him to places we can't really follow." Rumors spread that an incident occurred during one of their museum lockdowns, something so disturbing that the network forced them to destroy the footage. A former production assistant anonymously claimed, "There's one night nobody's allowed to talk about. We were told to erase everything, even backups." Others whispered that Zak had started performing private rituals before filming, saying it was to keep the energy focused. But after that night, everything about the crew's dynamic changed. Social media became another red flag. Aaron stopped tagging Zak in posts. Billy unfollowed the museum account entirely. When asked why, he simply replied, "We're all on different paths now." Even loyal fans began to sense something bigger was being covered up, something that wasn't just creative differences or burnout. It felt like a secret pact had been made. Those who knew what happened behind closed doors weren't allowed to speak, and those who didn't were too afraid to ask. In the paranormal world, silence is often louder than any scream, and in the case of Zak Bagans' crew, that silence became deafening. A quiet confirmation that whatever haunted them wasn't just inside the locations, it was inside the people who went looking for it. For years, the Haunted Museum was Zak Bagans' crowning achievement, a Gothic mansion filled with cursed artifacts that blurred the line between history and horror. It wasn't just a tourist attraction, it was Zak's personal obsession, a physical manifestation of everything he had hunted for decades. The building itself, a 1930s mansion near downtown Las Vegas, was rumored to already be haunted before Zak ever set foot inside. Locals used to call it the Vengert House, and even before Zak bought it, neighbors complained of strange lights flickering in the attic, phantom footsteps, and whispers through open windows on windless nights. To Zak, that made it perfect. When the museum opened in 2017, it drew immediate crowds, but it also drew something else. Guests would faint, cameras would shut off. Some visitors reported violent nausea and migraines after viewing specific rooms. One woman claimed she was scratched on her back after touching a chair that supposedly came from a serial killer's home. Zak showcased objects like the Dybbuk box, said to contain a malevolent Jewish spirit, Peggy the doll, who allegedly causes heart attacks in those who disrespect her, and the Bela Lugosi mirror, rumored to show demonic faces to those who stare too long. But the deeper one explored the museum, the more unsettling it became. Every hallway seemed to hold its own curse. Tour guides whispered that certain rooms were locked not for display, but for containment. Even the staff started reporting things they couldn't explain. Security footage captured shadows moving when no one was inside, Alarm systems would trigger in sealed rooms. Visitors left crying, saying they felt something following them out. Zak himself once admitted in an interview that there were rooms even I don't like to walk into anymore. It wasn't bravado, it was dread. After one particularly strange night, he claimed that every electrical circuit in the building blew out simultaneously at 3:03 a.m., followed by the sound of knocking coming from beneath the basement floor. Then came the accidents. A tour guide collapsed while walking guests through the basement, her heart racing uncontrollably. A camera operator reportedly quit mid-shift after claiming he saw Zak's reflection blink independently in a mirror. By 2024, rumors circulated that parts of the museum had been quietly sealed off, including a private research room only Zak could enter. Employees began quitting without notice, saying the energy inside had grown unbearable. It was this very museum that fans began to suspect was at the center of Zak's mysterious midnight confession. Because if what he hinted at was true, if something from within those walls had attached itself to him, then the haunted museum wasn't just cursed by its objects, it was cursed by the man who built it, and whatever he awakened inside those rooms might have finally followed him home. By the time Ghost Adventures reached its 15th year, fans thought they'd seen it all. Possessions, poltergeists, full-bodied apparitions caught on film. But what they didn't see were the things that happened when the cameras weren't rolling. Crew members began to talk, quietly and off the record, about nights that were never meant to make it to air. It wasn't just eerie noises or malfunctioning gear anymore. It was the feeling that something had learned their patterns, that the darkness they were documenting was starting to anticipate them. One former sound technician described it perfectly. It's like the show became self-aware, like it knew when we were there. Production logs from several episodes revealed unexplained gaps, entire hours of footage missing or corrupted. Equipment would power on by itself, battery packs drained within minutes, and audio recorders picked up whispers saying the crew's names long before they spoke. In one case, an entire SD card melted inside the camera while filming at a Nevada asylum. Zak called it the energy feeding off us. To others, it looked like a warning. There was one incident, though, that stood out, something the network allegedly buried. During a lockdown at the museum, cameras captured what appeared to be Zak collapsing after staring into the Bela Lugosi mirror. The footage was never broadcast. Insiders claim he was unresponsive for nearly 15 minutes, whispering fragments of sentences when he finally came to, "It's not done. It's still here." From that day forward, people close to him said his demeanor changed. He became withdrawn, jumpier, as if every sound was amplified. Another episode filmed at a rural church in Louisiana was quietly shelved, even though it was nearly complete. One crew member said Zak demanded all footage be destroyed after something attached to the van during their drive home. He reportedly ordered the team to cleanse every piece of equipment with holy water before entering the next location. That same crew member quit 2 days later, refusing to give interviews. Then came the emails. Internal messages leaked months later, suggesting the production had implemented new safety protocols. Every shoot began with a spiritual protection briefing, something unheard of in reality television. Zak's tone during these meetings grew darker. He started warning the crew to treat every location like a living thing. He insisted certain places had consciousness, that the entities were no longer waiting to be found. What haunted Zak Bagans wasn't just ghosts anymore. It was the realization that whatever he had been chasing for entertainment had started chasing him back. And as strange accidents multiplied, crew members falling ill, gear breaking, staff quitting mid-season, one thing became terrifyingly clear. The hauntings were no longer confined to the screen. They had followed Ghost Adventures home. After years of chasing the dead, Zak Bagans began to vanish from the living. It started subtly, a missed convention appearance here, a canceled museum event there. Then, By early 2025, fans noticed something impossible to ignore. Zak had completely withdrawn from public life. No new Ghost Adventures teasers, no interviews, even his once active social media fell silent, save for a few cryptic posts that hinted at exhaustion and regret. One simply read, "You can't film what won't let go." At first, fans chalked it up to burnout. After all, the man had spent nearly 2 decades confronting darkness in abandoned hospitals, prisons, and cursed homes. But the timing felt strange. His team stopped mentioning him altogether. The Travel Channel quietly removed promotional material for upcoming museum specials, and his official website went dark for maintenance, a maintenance that never ended. A source close to the production told a podcast, "Something happened last year, something that scared even him." Rumors began to spiral. Some claimed Zak had been hospitalized after a breakdown. Others insisted he was conducting private cleansing rituals inside the museum. Then came whispers of lost footage, hours of unaired material filmed during a late-night lockdown that the network refused to release. A supposed leak described a ritual gone wrong, an attempt to communicate with whatever spirit haunted one of the museum's sealed rooms. The account claimed Zak collapsed mid-ritual, screaming words in a language no one recognized before blacking out. When he awoke, he allegedly begged the crew to destroy every frame. Days later, production was halted indefinitely. That was the moment everything began to crumble. The museum shut down temporarily, citing structural inspection. In reality, employees said Zak demanded every object be spiritually contained. He refused to sleep inside the mansion, moving instead to an undisclosed property outside Las Vegas. Even from there, witnesses claimed he kept blackout curtains drawn at all hours and slept with lights on. His neighbors described seeing strange visitors, priests, mediums, and one man who claimed to be a psychic archivist, coming and going at odd hours. For the first time, it seemed like Zak Bagans, the fearless ghost hunter, was terrified. The man who once taunted demons now refused to speak their names. A friend later admitted, "He told me he finally understood that some things don't haunt places, they haunt people." That confession spread quietly online, buried beneath speculation and denial. But to those who'd followed Zak's journey from the start, it made perfect sense. His empire wasn't collapsing from fame or fatigue. It was collapsing from within. The silence, the shutdowns, the missing footage, all of it pointed to one horrifying truth. Whatever Zak had been searching for all these years, he had finally found it. And now, it wouldn't let him go. Then came the night that changed everything. Without warning, Zak Bagans resurfaced, pale, exhausted, and visibly shaken, in a late-night live stream that lasted barely 10 minutes before vanishing from every platform. The clip spread fast, but only fragments remain online. In it, Zak sat alone in a dimly lit room, curtains drawn, a single candle flickering beside him. His voice trembled as he spoke. "I built my life around chasing what others ran from, but when you stare into that darkness long enough, it follows you home." For the first time, fans weren't seeing the confident showman who mocked the unseen. They were seeing a man broken by it. He confessed that after one specific museum lockdown in 2022, something had changed. He said an object, though he refused to name it, had chosen him. "It's not just in the museum anymore," he whispered. "It's here, in me." At first, viewers assumed it was performance art, another paranormal promo. But the fear in his eyes said otherwise. His hands trembled, his speech stuttered. Behind him, a faint knocking sound interrupted his words 3 times in perfect rhythm. He froze. Then the stream abruptly cut off. Moments later, his accounts went offline. For days, theories exploded. Some said it was a nervous breakdown. Others swore it was possession. But an alleged insider from his team leaked what Zak had told them hours before going live, that he could hear something whispering his name at night. He believed it was the same voice recorded during the Dybbuk box investigation years earlier. The revelation was chilling. Zak admitted he he never fully sealed the box. He had performed a partial closure ritual for television, but left the object open afterward, convinced the world needed to see the danger firsthand. He told friends that decision had cursed him. "I gave it an audience," he allegedly said. "Now it wants the spotlight back." His confession reframed everything: the crew's disappearance, the museum closures, the panic in his final post. It wasn't just guilt, it was fear of something still active, still aware. Those who managed to rewatch the fragment of his live stream noticed something horrifying in the reflection behind him: a tall, blackened silhouette standing perfectly still until the screen went black. Whether it was coincidence, lighting, or something else, no one could say. But one thing was certain: Zak's revelation wasn't about fame, regret, or exhaustion anymore. It was a warning. Whatever haunted ghost adventures had finally revealed itself, and it had chosen to speak through him. The moment Zak Bagans' live stream vanished, the paranormal world exploded. Former investigators, skeptics, and fans flooded the internet with theories. Some swore he was possessed. Others said it was a staged breakdown, but those who'd worked with Zak said otherwise. That wasn't acting, one insider claimed. Networks scrambled for answers, yet no one from his team spoke a word. Even the Travel Channel issued a vague statement wishing him peace and recovery, avoiding every real question. Analysts tried to debunk the clip, saying the knocking was edited or the shadow behind him was just lighting, but viewers weren't convinced. "He looked terrified," one fan said, "like something was in the room with him." As rumors of sealed museum chambers and late-night rituals resurfaced, the story twisted darker. Whether it was a hoax or something real, one truth echoed across every forum: Zak Bagans wasn't performing anymore. He was living the horror he used to film.